So one of the first mistakes that I see athletes make when they're first starting out with their mental training is a focus right away on mental skills. Mental skills such as breathing, visualization, focusing techniques, so on and so on. And the reason why this is such a big mistake is that mental skills are not the foundation of strong mental performance. So in this video, I'm going to break down for you where you should be focusing your time, energy, and attention to build that great foundation that's going to translate into some solid mental performance in the future. Today, we're going to get better. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Train with Perk. My name is Jay Tuft, and if you're an athlete, a parent, or a coach, and you're looking to elevate your ability to mentally perform or the mental performance of somebody that you care about, well, then you are in the right place. So today, we are talking about our foundation, and the foundation is exactly where we need to start, especially when we're going to go on this journey of being able to elevate our mental performance so that way we can create more consistently good performances in the future. So important that our foundation is solid. Okay? When you think about when you would build a house, you wouldn't build a house starting with the roof. You wouldn't build a house starting with the walls. We start with the foundation. So let's talk about what that foundation actually is. All right, so your foundation is your mindset, and a mindset is nothing more than the patterned way that we think about situations. And we all have one, right? We have a mindset for when things are going really well. What's our mindset look like? Okay, what are the thoughts that we're having? What kind of emotions do we feel? What kind of actions do we take, right? All those things add up into this mindset when things are going really well, right? If you're coming here, odds are that you've been having a hard time and maybe you've been struggling, and we have a mindset during those times, right? We have these underlying habits and underlying thought patterns that pop up when things aren't going really well. So, I mean, here are example of a few, right, that may be happening, or that are questions that you need to ask yourself to help you understand what some of these underlying habits are. So for example, how do you react to stress? Right? Are you a person who, when you start to experience some stress, maybe you overanalyze the situation, and maybe that overanalysis keeps you paralyzed and you don't take the action that you need to? Another one would be, how much do your emotions impact you? Are you that person where if you start to get super emotional in your sport, that emotion has a big impact on the things that you do? Maybe you lash out at other people, or maybe you shrink up. Maybe become less of a leader. Maybe you're not as vocal. So many things that can happen, right? But we have to understand what these things are. Another big question that we could ask ourselves that would point to our mindset, to point to these underlying thought habits, these nasty little habits, is, how do we handle situations where we have failed or that there's the potential to fail? Right? How do you respond to those situations? Because generally, it's probably pretty consistent from situation to situation to situation that you may be faced with the potential to fail. How are you responding to those situations? So you might be asking yourself, why? Why do I need to understand what some of these underlying thought habits are? Maybe some of you are a little skeptical. So let me ask you this. If you were to build a house, right, and you poured your foundation and you never went back and checked, or you were having issues with the house, but you never took a look at the foundation, what would happen then when things started to go wrong with your house, right? Where's the first place that you should probably look? If the floor is starting to settle, if the walls are starting to crack, you should probably look at the foundation, right? Mental performance is no different, right? When we find ourselves in a situation that we're struggling, that, maybe I'm, fearing failure, I'm becoming too much of a perfectionist, or I just find that I'm negative all the time, instead of looking at breathing or visualization or self-talk or focusing exercises, we first need to identify what the problem is. And that's where this conversation that we need to be able to have with ourselves really becomes important, because if we don't identify some of these holes that we have in our mindset, we're leaving ourselves open for that when a storm does come, and there is always a storm for everybody, right? We don't mentally train or work on our ability to mentally perform for the bright sunshiny days or the easy performances. That's not what we're here to work on. We're here to work on when it gets hard. We're here to work on when we really struggle, or we're in a situation that we might really struggle, or the situation's incredibly important to us and we're feeling some pressure, maybe more than what we ever felt before. Okay? If that storm comes and your house is built on a faulty foundation, If there's some holes and there's some cracks in it, what's going to happen when that storm hits? Because here's the thing. If you're somebody who you're a perfectionist, or you fear failure, or you even avoid situations where you might fail, there's no amount of visualization that's going to help you. There's no amount of breathing that's going to help you. There's no amount of focusing techniques that is going to help you, because those things, while they may be part of the solution down the road, trying to use those things to solve your perfectionism or your fear of failure, that's just a band-aid. It's not going to solve the problem. And so we really have to get good at recognizing that, you know what, are there some holes in my mindset? And before I worry about building any other part of my house, I probably got to make sure that my foundation is really solid. All right, so I'm going to give you something that you can take home with you, or that you can do in your free time. It's incredibly simple. That's going to help you move yourself further along in this process. It's incredibly simple. You need to be able to, first and foremost, recognize what some of the potential holes might be. And the only person that can know that and that can truly understand that is yourself. Which means that you need to spend some time with yourself, writing down, okay, what are some of these situations when it's going really well? And what are some of the things that are happening? What do I notice about myself or within myself within those situations that I can use and that I can strive for in the future, right? Now, if you're somebody who maybe you're coming to this channel because you're in a slump, or the mental side of the sport has been a struggle for a long time, well, there's a reason for that. And you need to just write down 5 situations where you really felt like you struggled. Like, wow, that was rough. That situation, not a ton of fun, was pretty brutal. Okay, write down those situations and then start to just reflect, right? Reflection is something that we don't do nearly enough of, because it doesn't do any good for anybody else to know what's going on other than you, right? Because you need to be able to understand, you need to be able to look at yourself and say, okay, what's happening here? What's my mental reaction to these situations? Well, how am I responding to the stress? What kind of emotions am I having? Are those emotions, dictating what I do? Am I fearing failure here? You have to ask yourself not just these questions, but other questions. And really it just starts with just sitting down by yourself and spending some time thinking about it. And here's the thing, I know it's hard. I know it is not fun. It is not fun to go back to times where we really struggled, right? In fact, naturally as people, we just like to block those things out. Get me away from that. But when we do that, we don't learn anything. We don't learn anything from those times that we struggle. And if we don't learn anything about what happened, how do we know even what to work on, so that way we can make sure that it doesn't happen again? As always, if you liked the video and you want more videos like it, definitely let me know, right? Leave me a comment down below. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, and of course subscribe, hit that notification bell, so that way you know the next time that I release a video. We will see you next time.